Hello, hello. Good morning. What's up, guys? And thanks for tuning in and welcome to another weekly crypto market update. This is Setup Saturday and I'm here again with Zero Cool. How are you?
Hello, hello. It's been a while. I'm pretty good. Yourself?
It's been super long. There was a lot that happened in crypto. The market dropped. I think the last time we streamed it was at 95K or something. So now we're a lot lower. We will talk about that today. But yeah, I'm pretty good. I went on a holiday to Dubai, and then it was Valentine's, and yeah, that's some of the excuses we didn't stream, but everything is good. We both bought the dip, I think. Also, we'll talk about that today.
Yep, we did. I did.
But yeah, so today, as always, we're gonna go over global liquidity. I will go over the tariffs as well from yesterday, the US tariffs. And then, of course, I'm pretty curious what Zero Cool is going to say. I don't know yet, probably Bitcoin TA. And yeah, that's about it. So let's dive right into it. So, like I said, we're going to talk first. Where is my screen? The tariffs. So, I found a very good thread from the Kobisi letter that explained everything. So, I don't have to explain it myself. So, in one of the most anticipated rulings in a decade, the US Supreme Court has ruled President Trump's emergency tariffs illegal, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. I didn't think this would have happened. I talked about this, when was it? More than a year ago now. I didn't think the Supreme Court would tell that they're illegal, but they did. So the court ruled IEEPA does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. And that's important. That is the I don't know what it actually means, but apparently. But the most important thing for us is how did the market respond? Why did the market respond? And I'm going to go over it a little bit later. So the S&P went up 1%, silver went up 5%, and Bitcoin went up a little bit as well. So the IEEPA tariffs include these ones. So these are the ones that are deemed illegal. But the thing that's important is that the ruling states Trump must point to clear congressional authorization to impose tariffs. So basically, Congress could still pass a bill to approve these tariffs. And if you look at the odds of Polymarket, there is only a 36% chance that the Trump administration is forced to refund these tariffs. So more likely than not, the US will not refund these tariffs. So I think this is from yesterday. My country is banned on Polymarket, so I cannot check the odds. Maybe Zero Cool, if you can just quickly check what the odds currently are. I would think they're maybe a little bit lower than yesterday. So let's see what Zero Cool is saying.
What's the thing called? If you can scroll up a little bit more.
It's will the court force Trump to refund tariffs?
17% right now.
Okay. Yeah.
They spiked up a little bit to they dropped from 40 to 20. Yeah, I can share my screen real quick. There we go.
Yeah.
So spiked up to 40, dropped down, big spike again, and then dropped down. This is probably like somebody buying, I don't know, $10,000, and there's not the liquidity in the book, so it spikes up and then just drops off back again. I think we can see that in the activity, maybe. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
So I don't think they will pay it back. It will be super bad for the US if they have to really pay it back, but I don't think so. What else is interesting? I think that's it. But then, of course, that's also important that global uncertainty hits highest level on record. So this is one of the reasons that gold is doing very good and Bitcoin a little bit less, because as we know, last year, Bitcoin is trading more as a risk on assets opposed to risk off. But then the important thing is, of course, the White House, they responded after 3 hours already, and they imposed just new tariffs with another, how can I say it, another way. And so Trump is saying, therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs remain in place and full force and exist. So I think this was just a nothing burger. The only thing, and so let's talk a little bit about the price now. So the thing is, you can think about the tariffs what you want, but this isn't a good look for the US. So it's really bad that the country is not cohesive, that there's a Supreme Court that can overrule the US president, because the tariffs are used as a trading strategy or even as a strategy to for war or for negotiations, for everything. And if the Supreme Court can overrule that, that's not a good look for the US. That makes the US weak. And imagine a country like, for example, China or Russia. You cannot imagine that something is happening there, or for example, the UAE. So think about it what you will. This is bad for the US. Okay.
I did want to add to the tariffs thing that I read somewhere that if they have to repay it, it wouldn't like go back to the consumer or people who paid it, like you and me, if we would live there, but straight to like companies, which would boost the economy. So it wouldn't even go back to the pocket where it came from. It would go to companies, and that in itself would boost the economy, which would boost productivity, which would boost risk on assets.
The thing is, they will have to fight it in court, I read, and that will most likely take about 2 years for every case to be resolved. So that will take a while, but like Polymarket is saying, there's only a 16% chance. I think it won't happen. But what I wanted to say is, what I wanted to come to is, so since this is bad for the US, this will probably hurt treasuries and the dollar. So if this hurts treasuries and the dollar, we know stocks and Bitcoin and the dollar are inversely correlated. And this was one of the main reasons why we saw the jump in equities and crypto the moment this was overruled, because this will just be bad for the dollar. The second thing is, and I think you even wrote it in our Discord, what will happen? Well, to repay this, well, the US will need to print money. Because the thing is, tariffs, why do they impose them? Well, of course, to get more money into the country. If they cannot impose tariffs anymore, I think at the moment, the government used, well, all the governments in the West, basically, they used up everything they can to get more tax on everything and to get more money out of everyone, out of companies, out of the people. So, and that's basically a simple thing in economics, simple idea in economics. I'll show it. This is the Laffer curve. And the Laffer curve basically means that there is a point when the tax rate is, for example, at a certain point, that when you tax the people more, the revenue will drop. Why? And the reason is just if you have a lot of tax, the people will just be inclined to work less. They will be inclined to invest less, or they will move to another country, which is the most important one. For example, here in the Netherlands, we have now the new 36% unrealized gain tax, which is crazy. But what will happen? People will just move to another country.
And they also will tax, by the way, with an exit tax. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. So, and what you're seeing now is the people will just leave, or they will try to avoid as much as possible paying the taxes. So that's the thing with the Laffer curve. At a certain point, when you go over it, the revenue of the tax that the government can take will be less. What do I want to say with this is, at the moment in the West, in my opinion, I think we're at the maximum level of the Laffer curve. I don't think the government can oppose more taxes. So what will happen is, what government must do is they will just print more money, because they're at the max of the Laffer curve for taking taxes. So that's what I think. So, and that's probably what also happened by people saying, oh, the president cannot impose tariffs anymore. They will need to find another way. The other way is printing money. So this is also another reason, I think, why Bitcoin went up immediately. But then again, we know, okay, after 3 hours already, Trump said, okay, I put the tariffs back on. But why is the market then not going down afterwards? I just think that now all the uncertainty is gone. And like we always say, the markets, they don't like uncertainty. Now it's much more certain. And that's why just the market is stable and going up a little bit. I think crypto today was going down a little bit, but not much. And I think the worst is over. Yeah.
Flat after the nuke. Basically.
So that's what I wanted to say about the tariffs. I think this is the most important thing. I think a lot of people will talk about this year, about the Laffer curve. For example, when you have very low taxes, like here, that's countries like the UAE. We see a lot of growth. And next up, let's talk about global liquidity a little bit, because global liquidity surprisingly has been doing very well these last few weeks. And it's actually reached a new all-time high this week of $188.8 trillion US dollars.
Jesus.
And that's the most important thing, with short-term momentum improving. And that's the thing we need. We need short-term momentum. Why is it going up? Well, mostly because liquidity is boosted by strong PBOC injections. So I think we talked about this last stream as well. That's why I liked to buy Chinese equities. That's why I liked gold and commodities, because the PBOC was at the bottom of its liquidity cycle, and we knew they were going to start printing again, which is what they did. Also, a little bit of improvement in the Fed liquidity. The collateral values were stable, low bond market volatility, and also there was the US dollar weakness. And then my next slide is the most important one, actually. So this is the weekly growth in global liquidity. And what I always talk about, so the global liquidity cycle, the one, the famous one of the 4, 5 year, 6 year cycles, that basically measures the momentum in global liquidity. And that's the most important thing for risk assets to go up when the momentum is going up. And as you can see here, it's basically dropped. And this was the drop we saw in Bitcoin. So when the momentum of global liquidity was going down, this is also when Bitcoin went down. But we see it bottomed out. And the last few weeks, the 3-month annualized growth rate, it picked up noticeably, like you can see here, to, and you don't see it on the chart, but it's to 3.6%. And like I said, this is largely due to the PBOC injections. If liquidity is anywhere, it will probably end up somewhere. Somewhere can be in Bitcoin. So yeah, this is a good sign to have a little bit of short-term relief rally. Maybe I say maybe. We measure this with this chart, so we see we just experienced this drop, and this was a drop from this one here. According to this chart, according to the metric global liquidity alone, we might see a small relief rally, small one. But I still do think that we're in for a very slow year, just stabilizing, and I don't think we will see a big relief rally. We have been oversold. This is a good time to start DCAing. If this continues, it's fine. Maybe the price will slowly trend upwards, but I don't think we will see these massive price spikes going up. So. But this is what's currently happening with global liquidity, so nothing that bad.
I want to add the orange line. BES is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. For those who don't know, it's like the percentage of price up and down for those three assets. So that's basically.
The thing is, even if I remember it, I think it's 60% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, and 10% Solana or something.
Yeah.
I think
those are also the three assets that I bought, by the way, on the dip, on like actual spot buy, were those three.
Okay, next up, the second most important thing at the moment in the markets, in the Bitcoin markets, next to global liquidity, is, in my opinion, the ETFs. Do you want to say something about this?
Yeah, that we used to chart this rigorously at the start of when they came out. We were going over the numbers every week. It's something that kind of dropped off, and it's kind of what is dragging us down now, right?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So according, and I really like these charts from Econ Metrics. So according to the ETF outflows, the price of Bitcoin should be, the expected price should be between 48K and 67K. And we see this as well on the Bitcoin ETFs. There's just each week we see outflows, which is not good, of course, for the Bitcoin price. It's a lot of institutions selling. This needs to stabilize before we can have a significant rally in Bitcoin, else we won't see it. So this is not a good sign. Maybe it will stop with global liquidity being decent, but I just think this is a reaction of the risk off environment, which favors gold at the moment, and a lot of big players rotate from Bitcoin to gold. I hope the rotation will come the other direction, but this is just the current state, and with this kind of outflows
when it comes.
So yeah, this is putting a lot of pressure on the Bitcoin price, and yeah, this is just the second metric you should follow. So this is a very good price range. So maybe we bottom here in March, and this will be a very good buy opportunity. But like I said, I think and Zero Cool will show it afterwards a little bit as well. We are in his buy zone, so I think it's a good time to start DCAing again for maybe a better rally next year. Then the last thing I wanted to show today is the stablecoin. So Zero Cool asked me this just to have a look on where we are at the moment, which is this is kind of important. And let me show. Yeah. So basically, what happens is the moment we topped, and I think we topped 6th of October, there weren't as much stablecoins inflow as well. So we have no new money entering the crypto ecosystem. We have no new money entering via the ETFs. So there is just no liquidity. The global liquidity went down as well. So all things pointing toward that Bitcoin had to go lower. And we see this reflecting in the price at the moment. So you wanted to see Tether as well? I think Tether went even more down.
I just want to see like
here. Tether went down even.
It's not by as much as I would expect. Maybe a couple billion that flew out, but it's not like a drawdown.
It was worse other cycles.
I think USDC would be more interesting to see the outflow because that's the actual vehicle that retail uses to exit. Maybe I could be wrong. One change plus 300 million. Yeah. In our Discord, we have a Discord bot who prints stablecoin prints, and it's usually the PayPal one that keeps printing, and the one after behind Hyperliquid, I think. That's stablecoin for that chain. But yeah, little to no USDT or USDC prints, and since those are the two biggest players, you can see there's like 180 billion, 74 billion, and the third one is like 9 billion of a coin I've never heard of, Sky USD. So yeah, I think this is a factor why we're not giga mooning, is the inflow of coins is not there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This was my part. I think the chart isn't looking that bad, in my opinion. So, but yeah, you can tell us more about it.
Yeah, you can share my screen. I wanted to start to go
you're
to
still
our
on the screenshot. Yeah.
Yeah. This is from our last stream where I had the two boxes. The top one is where I wanted to sell. The bottom one is where I wanted to buy. The lines in the middle are weekly open, 2025 yearly open, 2026 yearly open, and that was a couple of weeks ago. If we then go to today, what do we see? Boop, we giga nuked, and I'll put it on the daily and zoom in a little bit. We giga nuked in one candle from above my buying interest to the bottom of my buying interest. So I got filled on everything I wanted to get filled in one day. And if you zoom in hours, it's even in a window of 12 hours that I got filled completely. Did I buy more? Absolutely. If we zoom into like 30-minute frame, you have like a little consolidation here before the last flush, where you can see the selling climax. I bought more just before the nuke. Unlucky, I could have bought a couple % lower, but I added more than what I wanted to buy. I didn't go all in, never go all in. That's probably for when we're at like 40,000 or something, but I added more. I went over what I was planning to allocate, mainly because a couple of times a year in crypto, there's a buying opportunity that's a super good return on investment. And I think this candle is one of those buying opportunities. And you can tell by the fact that it bounced 20% in like a day and a half. So
I think we talked about this the last 4 streams, that there are two how can I say it, bars. One where you sell your crypto, one where you buy your crypto. We entered the box of where you should buy your crypto. We both did. I bought at 63K. I had another offer at 58K. We just didn't touch that, so that's a little bit of a shame. But yeah, like we said, this is one of the best positions to DCA, and yeah, we're lucky we can do it basically. So
yeah, if you guys remember when we were trading at 110, 120. Everybody was calling for the moon, 200,000. Go 6 months in the future, we're trading at 65, 68K. Everybody is calling for 40, 30,000. I'm not saying it cannot go to 30,000. It absolutely can go to 30,000, but the risk reward to buy here compared to buying here compared to buying here to go to 200,000, the risk reward here is infinitely higher than it is buying here. Therefore, buying here is just better than buying here because the price is lower. Nothing has changed. One of the big things that I've been talking about last couple of days, weeks is, it's not quantum proof. And even if the chain forks, which is already a hard thing to do, then there's like still 4 million Bitcoin in ancient wallets, including Satoshi, that will probably never be moved by its owners, therefore are at risk to get hacked by quantum hacking, or quantum computing can hack into those wallets and move them and dump them and cause price changes. I think that risk is way overblown. The ecosystem is way too high. Like Larry Fink from BlackRock will find something to say, no, it's not happening. We'll push some narrative to make that not happen, because he also owns a metric shit ton of Bitcoin in his vehicles. It's against his profits to let quantum get that far that it could hack wallets, which I think it won't. Therefore, it's an overblown risk, and I think we're definitely in an overselling area. If we zoom out a little, we also talked about my indicator at the bottom here, the MACD weekly, logarithmic MACD, where green is you just buy and you don't think about it when you're at top of the channel, which didn't trigger here, by the way. So we never got into that red overselling area. You just buy. We're not there yet, which could indicate we are due for one more leg down before actual capitulation in the markets come in. But again, yeah, here I will just buy more. If this starts to flash green, I won't even look at the price. I'll just start buying with everything I can. And it will be a good risk return, because in the end, nothing has changed. Bitcoin is still, in my eyes, the solution to one of the problems we're having in the world. And no, you're not early at $100 anymore, but you're not buying at 125, right? You're buying at 68, and if we go lower, lower. So I think it goes higher in the end. And that's about it for TA on Bitcoin on a very large scale.
What I wanted to say regarding your the thing you said about the quantum risk is that people don't realize that Bitcoin is the most quantum resistant asset that there is in the world. If you manage to, how can I say, that quantum can hack Bitcoin or crack Bitcoin, that means that every other system before that will be hacked as well. Your banking system, everything else will be hacked. So Bitcoin is the most resistant against quantum hacks. So that will be the last one on the list that will be able to get hacked. So I think the risk is not there. It's way too soon to start talking about it. Although I think it's good to talk about it, that when the moment is there, that they already have a solution. I think that was what Vitalik was doing. But yeah, talking about Vitalik. So today we only spoke about Bitcoin because at the moment I'm currently only allocating Bitcoin. I don't know what you're doing, Zero Cool. So I don't have any
options. Ethereum and I bought Solana. I think I bought 60% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, 20% Solana on that dip.
Okay.
That was my new spot allocation into those assets. And for the rest, I didn't touch anything. Our promised or our hopeful Santa rally for altcoin season never came. Maybe this year.
Yeah, the thing with altcoins is at the moment why I didn't buy Ethereum. Although I think what I want to say is, although I think Ethereum will play a role with AI agents, so I think Ethereum will be one of the most utilized chain for AI. Although it wasn't made for that in the beginning, I think it will be more and more made for that in the future. Yeah. So what I wanted to say is, although I still believe in it. I think macro-wise, since we won't see that many rate cuts, maybe we talk about it next week. It's not a good regime for altcoins. Altcoins thrive in a low interest rate regime. The US still has high interest rates. I think it will stay like this for the remainder of the year. Maybe it will change next year, and maybe that will be the year that does better for altcoins, but it's not there at the moment. That's why currently I am only allocated to Bitcoin and crypto. And the thing is, I see it on my notes here from a month or two ago. What you can do and what you should do is don't only buy crypto, diversify into other assets. So I have Bitcoin. I have a little bit of bonds, not much. US dollar will be fine this year. Commodities, energy, gold, and then Bitcoin. Like I said, Bitcoin. Why? Because we're at the top of the Laffer curve. Governments will need to print money this year and the coming years. So all these assets will be good. So diversify, protect yourself, and Bitcoin will be good. Buy into the box that Zero Cool told you. And yeah, that's about it. So I think we can call it here. Normally from now on, we will be more regular. We will be here next week, I think.
I will be here if you're here. And if not, we should continue doing in solo, right?
Yeah, why not?
Just like a 5-minute flash. Pew, pew, pew.
If you guys have any questions, post them in the comments so we can go over them next week if you guys want. And yeah, see you guys all next week. And thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, Zero Cool, for joining.
No problem.